What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV. Back with another Arsenal therapy. Happy Monday to everyone. Hope you are well wherever you are in the world. And we are back, unfortunately, with another episode of Arsenal therapy. Some people will say, maybe we didn't need to do it, but I think we did. My phone's been blowing up. Man United fans are hammering me. I had to discuss, I had to get some things off my chest. Right, the rebel background is back. I told man, when I turn up with Nicolas Anelka in the background or Alexis Sanchez, we're in rebellious mode, people. I'm vexed today. I still can't believe we lost that game yesterday. But we did. We held it, and we've got to hold it, and we have to bounce back from it. You know, what did Drake say on the song, people? OT, OT, there's never much love when we go OT. I pray to make it back in one piece. I pray, I pray. Do you know what I mean? That's what happened. OT, OT, man. It got the better of us yesterday, but it's one of them, people. Listen, we got to be shameless. All I can say to United fans is we're top of the league. Apart from that, I don't have much more to say right now. But listen, I do have much more to say, actually. But we're going to discuss it today. We're going to break it down. I don't know. I don't know how anybody else is feeling today. And I know we have to look ahead and we have to shake it off. But that one hurt. I can't lie, people. I can't lie. That one hurt. That's United. United away, 3-1. Damn. That hurt me, man. I can't lie. That one really bothered me. I'm not even going to cap. MD said back in them rusty vocals. Listen, them vocals are better than what we produced yesterday, let me tell you. You know what I mean? Man's rebellious. Man's got Super Nick in the background. I can't promise I won't sing again later in the show, people. Omar, your face yesterday when Xhaka tackled himself. My brother, I had to really gather myself. I had to walk off. Anybody who watched the stream yesterday, when Granit Xhaka tackled himself and fell over in front of Arteta, it was a moment. It was a moment. I had to walk away, gather myself for 5 seconds, come back to the stream because, I don't know. I don't know with Granit. I just don't. Well, I do know. He's not good enough. I'm sorry. I don't get caught up in 5 good games. I don't get caught up in this Gundogan role hype. He ain't that guy. It's no coincidence, people. Since Granit Xhaka has been a mainstay in the Arsenal midfield, we have not qualified for the Champions League once. That cannot solely be blamed on Granit Xhaka, but he's certainly a big part of the issue. And listen, big up to everyone for tuning in. Make sure you like the video and subscribe. Thank you very much to everyone who voted for the Football Content Awards. Voting has closed now, so it's in God's hands now, as they say. But big up to each and every one of you for tuning in today. Before I break down this game in a little bit more detail, I'm trying to be a lot calmer than I was last season, especially when reviewing the games. Because, it's early in the season and we're still top. And I don't want to overreact too much. But also, I think people have to understand that some Arsenal fans don't like it when you question the team, when you're a little bit... Constructive criticism is very important in life. It's the way you improve. You can't tell people they're brilliant all the time and pat them on the back. When they do wrong, you have to do it. There's ways of doing it. I don't think it's negative to look at what went wrong with Arsenal and what can be improved. We all want the best for our own football club. So I think people have to understand when we talk about it, there are channels out there that are going to tell you everything's rosy in the garden. There's nothing. Everything's beautiful with the best team the world's ever seen. I'm going to tell you what I see when you come on this channel, people. And I want you to tell me what you see. And that's the way it is. There were problems yesterday and there are problems at Arsenal. There are lots of good things. But we have to hope these good things can overcome the bad. Because I'm a little bit worried at the moment. I'm not even going to lie. Jitesh says, should change the lyrics to I pray we make it back with 1 point. Big up to the community. Left the gym early to catch the stream. Bro, I would have taken a point. I would have taken a point yesterday. Is what I'm saying. I think the key word yesterday was naive, people. Naive performance. We were so desperate to win the game, we ended up losing it. Sometimes you've got to understand how the game is managing itself and how you need to deal with it. We equalised. and then we're playing gun-ho, all-out attack football and ended up costing ourselves all 3 points. It made no sense. When you put into context that we scored in the 60th minute and they scored in the 66th minute. So within 6 minutes, we've blown it already. The first thing a manager tells you when you score, keep it compact. Don't concede. Don't do anything stupid. Arsenal were on the halfway line, people. And I think people have to understand, you can do your job in football for 89 minutes. If you switch off for 1 minute, ultimately you haven't had a good game. That's the harsh reality of football, people. A defender can defend great for 89 minutes, switch off for 1 minute, and they've had a bad game. Goalkeeper, same thing. You know, and this is the beauty of football and the harsh reality of football. Defensively, we were shambolic at times yesterday. Goals that you would see in the park on a Sunday afternoon. Simple as that. The question I'll ask everyone is, when do you see Arsenal get those same type of chances that Manchester United got against us? When does Gabriel Jesus get on the halfway line, get a through ball and just run through? It doesn't happen. People don't defend like that. He said your client Rashford was on fire. Listen, I'm not one of these I told you so people. I'm not. I like to be proven wrong, in fact. You know, I said it many times with Mikel Arteta. I hope he proves me wrong. I'll be the first one. I've said many times on this channel that I would take Marcus Rashford at Arsenal all day long. A lot of people don't rate him. I think you're going to see a different Rashford this year playing through the middle. 2 goals and 1 assist yesterday. But we actually made him look great. I think it was Jacob made a comment. He said this was more Arsenal beating Arsenal. And I agree with that. I think that's a fantastic point. Let's break down this shambolic defeat. A lot of people were very positive, very green-eyed. I thought it was a fantastic performance. We should have won the game. We totally outplayed them, Mikel Arteta said. Ultimately, I don't think we did, because ultimately you win and lose games in both penalty areas, and we didn't do our job properly in either penalty area. So, yeah, we dominated possession. We were bright. We had spells. We looked dangerous. There's no doubt about that. But we didn't punish them. And it's as simple as that. And Ish, you're right. The Ross Barkley dream that people were laughing when I said it last week. Ross Barkley, no chance. Finished. Don't want him. I'm not saying he's the answer, by the way. But he's better than some of the midfielders we had on show yesterday. He's now signed for Nice with Nicolas Pepe and Aaron Ramsey over there in France. So we can't even get Ross Barkley. Interesting, Diego Costa's signing for Wolves on a free transfer today. Chris is a Man United fan. You played into our hands, absolutely. One thing I will say, listen, one thing I want to point out before we review the game. It's not all doom and gloom for Arsenal. We're top of the league. We would have all taken 6 games, 5 wins, 1 defeat. We would have. That's just the reality of football. However, we're just simply going to look at that game yesterday. We're not looking at the overall picture yet. We're just going to focus on this game that we'll speak about. It's not all doom and gloom. Things are going well. But I think cracks started to appear yesterday, and these are things that we should have sorted. But anyway, let's move on. Let's discuss the game yesterday. And I'm going back to the highlights, people. I had to. Obviously, I need to play still images after Sky Sports tried to do me for copyright last season when I was playing these. So unfortunately, what I'm probably going to start doing is I'll do the review show, and then I will probably go on Twitch, because you can play content on there, and we'll look through these in greater detail. I definitely need to make a little bit more use of Twitch. So big up everyone watching on Twitch and everyone watching on YouTube. Dominating a game of football, to me, is making the opposition uncomfortable with the way you're playing. Making them struggle, putting them in a position that they don't want to be in on the football pitch. I don't think we dominated the game. I think we dominated possession. I think Manchester United didn't mind us having more possession of the ball and you know, doing things. I don't think they mind. I think he wanted to hit us on the counter-attack. Now, I'm only going to review the goals that we conceded. We're going to discuss the other things as well, but I'm just concentrating purely here on the goals we conceded, right? So I'm going to look at these goals. Now, I'm going to go on full screen for this, just so we can see this a little bit more zoomed in. This is the first goal. Now, Can you see the cursor? Right, you can. So, if you can see up here on the left-hand side of the screen, Christian Eriksen, I'm circling him here. Christian Eriksen is next to Sambi Lokonga. Now, Sambi Lokonga is here. He's gone to press Eriksen. Eriksen's played a 25-yard pass into Bruno Fernandes in the middle of the centre circle. Martinelli's next to him. Granit Xhaka's here on the halfway line next to McTominay. Eriksen has taken our whole midfield out with one pass. And I'm sorry, I say this all the time. When do you see this happen for Arsenal? It's so difficult to do that. Teams would be a lot more compact and make life more difficult. One ball from Eriksen straight into Bruno Fernandes. Whole midfield wiped out. Saka's over here. Martinelli's here. Granit Xhaka's on the halfway line. Sambi's all the way up here pressing Eriksen. Now, you've taken out our midfield, but we still have our back line. That's the beauty of football. Your defence can get you out of difficult situations sometimes when you don't deal with it in midfield. Our midfield, by the way, yesterday, we're going to talk about it in player ratings. El Neni said I would have clattered him. We could have probably done with El Neni yesterday. We're still in a situation here where this can be dealt with. Unfortunately, Arsenal capitulate. Now, I'll move it along slightly. You look at this position here. So our midfield hasn't done their job in the first phase of play here. They haven't protected our back four. They've left Bruno Fernandes on the half turn, able to drive at us. What on earth is Gabriel doing in this situation here? Now, to his defence, Bruno has a heavy touch. As you can see, the ball's here. And I think Gabriel thinks that he can nick it. However, for me, Gabriel should have held his position and been a little bit more patient. He's like a bull chasing after a red rag. He's had an absolute nightmare. As soon as he dives in, if he doesn't win the ball, it's game, set and match. Roger Federer, straight sets, US Open champion, game over. Horrendous defending. The dive in is so naive, it's unbelievable, right? It's terrible, terrible defending. But as I said, there's no midfield. Their number 10 is on the turn and no one's tracking him at all. It's terrible defending, though, from Gabriel. And you know me, people. I'm a massive fan of Gabriel. He needs to stop doing this. But in all fairness, Sambi and Xhaka are out of position and have been terrorised by the first ball. We move it on again. I wish I could play this. I've got to get back on Twitch. The next phase here is Zinchenko. If you look here, we are 4-on-3 in our favour. 4-on-3. You've got Granit Xhaka here. He's made the recovery run. You've got Ben White. You've got Saliba. You've got Zinchenko. What Zinchenko does is he panics. He sees the gap that Gabriel has left. And Zinny at no point is aware of the fact that Anthony is on the left-hand side of him. He never checks his shoulder. Now, listen, again, you know me, people. I am a massive fan of Zinchenko. I've done nothing but praise this guy since he's been at Arsenal for his quality on the ball. However, one thing we have to understand with Zinchenko, number one, he is a natural centre midfielder. And number two, when you play left-back for Manchester City, right, you probably have 75% possession most weeks. So ultimately, if you play at fullback for City, how many times does that winger get to run at you? A couple times? They won the title with Fabian Delph at left-back. I'm sure Fabian Delph is not a great left-back. As much as I love Zinchenko, as much as I think he's outstanding on the ball, he is not a natural defender. He's not. And the difference between Manchester City and Arsenal, at Arsenal, people are going to ask more questions of him. We don't dominate possession the way Manchester City do. People are going to run at him more and more. I think what you saw from Zinchenko yesterday was a midfielder playing at left back, not checking spaces around him. Anthony, £90 million signing in acres of space. We're 4-on-3. There was no need for Zinchenko to panic. Saliba is still in a decent position against Marcus Rashford, but he panics. He dives in. Rashford plays the ball between Saliba and Zinchenko. Anthony, great finish. Can't go against it. Opens up. Little Thierry Henry finish into the corner. So the goal for me, the midfield, Sambi Lokonga and Granit Xhaka, they're ball watching. Eriksen splits them with the ball into Bruno. First phase. Second phase, Gabriel, like a bull chasing the red rag, dives in, misses the ball, fouls the player. The defense starts to open up. There's your second phase. Third phase, Zinchenko panics, goes to the ball, great ball, and there's the third mistake. It could have been stopped in any one of those three phases. So there's your first bit. Some people saying it shouldn't be called Arsenal therapy, no need to panic. It's therapy more for me, I'm going to be honest, because it's Manchester United. If we'd lost 3-1 to Man City, I don't think I would have called this show Arsenal therapy, because I would have said, you know what? Manchester City are way better than us. They outplayed us. What could we do? I wouldn't have called it Arsenal therapy. The fact we lost 3-1 to Man United, they got so many fans chatting. This is a team that lost their first 2 games. So it's more of a personal Arsenal therapy for me. A few of you may agree. Some of you may say it was called Arsenal therapy a little bit early. The first goal, shambolic. Sunday League football, right? 3 opportunities to stop it. Not one of them happened. Terrible defending. A lot of people said we defended well yesterday. Not for me. That goal is totally avoidable. Let's go to the second goal. This is quite simple. Same situation. Same situation. Let's go back to the full screen again so you can see this better, people. This is similar to the first one. I'm circling here. Christian Eriksen, who got man of the match yesterday, by the way. Gets the ball, pops it into Bruno Fernandes, again on the half turn, turns. I think Bruno Fernandes, I call him a little rat face because he's got a little rat face. He dives, he cheats, he plays the game on the edge. But let me tell you something about Bruno Fernandes. Don't give him time and space on the ball at Old Trafford. He's going to rip you to pieces. Now, this is Zinchenko who is closing him down. I just want to give you an indication of us here, right? This over here at the top of the screen is Sambi Lokonga, our midfield number 6, our protector, our back 4 protector yesterday. That is Sambi Lokonga. He's almost at left back or left wing back. Granit Xhaka is here, doing his Gundogan runs forward, just ball watching, steering the ball. And Odegaard's here. Odegaard didn't get tight enough to Eriksen, pops it in to Bruno Fernandes. Bagel FC. Absolute Bagel FC. I had a debate yesterday with Laurie after the show. He said Sambi Lokonga was outstanding. He did downgrade it to very good. I think he needs to downgrade that a few more notches. Nowhere to be seen in midfield. Nowhere. Wide open, exposing your back 4. No protection. Granit's halfway up the pitch looking for a goal. Sambi Lokonga's at left wing back, ball watching. There's nothing. We've got absolutely nothing. He gets him on the half turn. And it pains me to say it, the ball from Bruno Fernandes it's a dream for a striker. The defence. Marcus Rashford is making a run here between Ben White and William Saliba. Saliba's body position is built for a ball that is going to go over the top or curl round into Marcus Rashford's run. What Bruno Fernandes does, he plays the ball with the outside of his boot, which actually takes it away from William Saliba, and Saliba has to turn round and do a whole 180. What a coach will tell you is play a straight pass for a diagonal run. Rashford makes a run across Saliba's body, which takes him out. Rashford outpaces him. He outpaces Ben White. He ends up one-on-one with the keeper, and we're finished. We're done. One ball. Eriksen into Bruno. Bruno into Rashford. One-on-one with the keeper. It's so easy. We're too high up the pitch. There's gaps all over the place. There's gaps all over the place, people. Look at the state of our team. Look how lopsided we are. 4 players in this top left-hand corner. big gaps in the middle, no left back. We're all over the place. We're a shambolic defensive mess. Ericsson is who Arsenal fans think Odegaard is, says Mr. Frequency. Dio said, big up Big C. As mentioned yesterday, the first goal was Sambi pushing too high to leave the gap behind. And before the second goal, Sambi overhit the pass. He did. He overhit it. And that's how Ericsson won the ball back, which led to us losing possession and Bruno splitting us. Gunner Down Under, big up yourself. Make sure you follow him as well. Zinchenko plays well in the left-back area at times, but he got stuck playing left 8 and left us open on the flanks. He needs to focus on left-back primarily instead of sitting central as much as Lokonga. The problem is, the only problem with that, and I agree with you at times, I believe he's being asked to do that. I think the manager, that is an instruction for Zinchenko. That's why he played yesterday. When Arsenal have possession, drop into midfield. That's how he wants him to play. So it does expose us at times, but I think that is an instruction, so very difficult. You can't ignore him. Sunday league position in that, honestly, average strikers would body you doing that. Never mind, Rashford with bags of pace finishes us. Let's move it on because I don't want to put you through much more of this, but it's got to be done, people. The third goal is absolutely horrendous. This is potentially the worst goal of the lot for me. I'm like, my eyes hurt looking at this picture. This goal is, for me, this could be the worst. Apparently I missed another super chat. VJ, I will go back up to it. Apologies. This goal is absolutely diabolical. And I mean diabolical, people. Let me just find this super chat and I will get it. I think I've gone too far. VJ said, as a Man United fan here, from an Arsenal perspective, surely you've seen this story many times over the last decade, especially against us and Chelsea. Keep possession, look good, but get done on the break. VJ, I hear you, and it hurts me to agree with you because I wanted to believe that we changed and that we could handle United, but we just didn't. And yeah, I appreciate your super chat. This defending is Sunday league. This is like, I don't know. Let me go full screen. This goal is like a rice pudding dessert. It's a mess. There's jam in it. It's all over the place. It's quite simple here. Christian Eriksen. I reckon most of you in the chat would outpace Christian Eriksen. No disrespect. He ain't a runner. That's for sure. He ain't a runner. Christian Eriksen's getting one-on-ones with half the pitch. We're on the halfway line. Diego Dalot is on the right-hand touchline. Their right back playing a through ball to Christian Eriksen. We have got 7 players within probably a 15-yard radius there. You got Saliba, you got Xhaka, you got Fabio Viera, you got Smith Rowe, you've got Gabriel, and you've got Gabriel Jesus, all in this. And look what Ben White is doing here. Ben White is looking at the ball. He should be looking along the line. All he has to do here is step, get in line with Saliba. Eriksen's offside, but he's ball watching. He's ball watching. He's not looking at Eriksen's run. He's ball watching. Bear in mind, how have our whole midfield just watched Eriksen make that run through the middle? I mean, it's absolutely horrendous. Bournemouth are bottom of the league right now. I bet if you looked at their 9 goals against Liverpool, none of them are as bad as that defensively. And this ain't a one-off. We've just looked at all 3 goals. All 3 of the goals are horrendous. This one, for me, is absolutely diabolical. You're talking about a £50 million central defender, an England international, who, as Dre said, doesn't watch football, playing Eriksen onside. Eriksen getting one-on-one with a goalkeeper. It's shambolic. It is shambolic. Luke saying there is context. I get it. We've pushed up to get the equaliser. You don't do that. You don't do that. That's all-out attack. You're just leaving yourself wide open. I want to tell you something here, right? Just to put this into context. This third goal, right? We were 2-1 down at the time of this. Rashford scores this goal in the 75th minute. It's not like there's 2 minutes to go and we're throwing the kitchen sink at it. There's 15 minutes to go. Be a little bit patient. United are still there for taking. You can get the equaliser. 7 players over by the touchline. And your goalkeeper, that's 8. So you've only got Ben White, Saka, and Eddie Nketiah here as your others. It's diabolical. It's absolutely diabolical. They seem to go all-out attack too early, and they cost themselves. I think even at 2-1, that last goal was a poor goal. I think even at 2-1, right, the second goal, the first goal that Rashford scored was in the 66th minute. There's 24 minutes of the game left. Arsenal should have simply said, right, don't panic. I know we've conceded and we're frustrated. Stay tight. Don't push too high and go and get the equaliser, right? I would have been sitting here today, honestly, I would have been celebrating Arsenal drawing that game because I would have said we've changed the narrative, right? Absolutely clear as day. I said it on the stream many times. I'll take a point. I'll take a point. You don't have to win. They have to win more than we do. But we went all out for it and we bottled it. Willie Vandy said, big up Curtis, you deserve the award of best channel every year. Your analysis explains it all. I've watched different channels. None of them didn't cast blames on the midfield. Listen, there are loads of good channels out there. See, I don't want to, but I appreciate your compliment, of course, and your support. Lloydish said, Curtis, you were calling for subs, don't lie. Lloydish, I've not once said in this stream anything was wrong with making them substitutions. I haven't said it once. If I have, clip it and play it back to me. I haven't once said in this stream that we were wrong. I was calling for subs myself. The subs wasn't the problem. It's the way we were playing. The team just went all out attack. Left backs in midfield. You know, your centre midfielders on the, making runs up front. We're all over the place. Where's the defensive shape? That's got nothing to do with substitutions. So, yeah, there we go. Let's not look at it anymore. We've had enough. We know how it went. Here's your bit of analysis. I think it would be remiss of me to not mention a couple of incidents. Martin Odegaard, in the build-up to the first goal, Odegaard fouls Christian Eriksen and the goal is disallowed. My opinion of that, if I'm being totally honest, is I think that it can be given as a foul, if I'm being totally honest. I think it's soft, but I think it can be given because the problem that Odegaard's got, he doesn't make any contact with the ball. So even though the contact is minimal, I think it's givable. And I think because it leads to a goal, it puts more pressure on the referee. And I think that once VAR tell a referee to go and look at it, I think subconsciously the referee is thinking, okay, maybe I've got this wrong. Why are they telling me to look at the screen? You also have to remember, everything in slow motion looks 10 times worse. Odegaard, in full speed, it doesn't look like there's anything wrong with it. When you slow it down, it kind of looks like he's pushing him. It kind of looks like his knee goes into his thigh. He doesn't make contact with the ball. Adding on top of that it leads to a goal. And then I think it all adds up to the fact that, okay, it's an easier decision for the referee to disallow it than to give it. And I think it's hard for me to say it because I don't rate that referee. I honestly think he's a poor ref. But I've got to be totally honest. I can understand why he gives the foul, having looked at the replay. If the game just played on, I don't think it would be given. I think once VAR tells him to look at it and it leads to a goal, the fact he makes no contact with the ball, I don't actually think he's made the wrong decision by disallowing it. And that's just me being honest. I'm not just going to cap because I'm an Arsenal fan. It's hard reality. A lot of people will say, no, it's soft. There's no doubt that it's soft. But I just think those circumstances added up to it being disallowed. But give me your opinions. Jitesh says, can't completely blame White. What about the positioning of Saliba in the midfield? Arteta went all out attack too early. I agree with that. I'm not just blaming Ben White. The line of the defence was shambolic. But he was a major part of it. Gunnar 8 wasn't clear and obvious. And that's the bit I do agree with. The referee looks at that goal about 6 or 7 times on the replay. To me, if you've got to watch a replay that many times, it tells me that you're not sure about it. So surely to disallow a goal as a referee, you should have to feel 100% that that is a foul. And I just think he looked at it so many times, it kind of tells me that he wasn't sure, but I think he didn't want to be so controversial. Anthony said, even Wrighty said it was a foul, and he caps for us more than any pundit or ex-player. Listen, as I said, it's soft, but it's givable, and I think the circumstances make it more of a foul than anything. Balogun scored again this weekend. He's on fire. 5 goals in 6 games for Balogun over there in France. Gunner down under. I think the subs came at the wrong time. Even though we just went down 2-1, their second goal was against the run of play. They were backing up after we equalised. Then changing 3 players at once led to confusion. I think that, because I'll be honest, I was on the stream saying maybe freshen it up and maybe change it. So I'm not going to go back on what I think. What I think was, I think we changed the system and the shape with the substitutions. And we were playing all-out attack football, as you can see. We defended on the halfway line. Players were all over the place. It looked like an absolute mess. I don't even know where half the players were playing. Where was Eddie playing? Left wing? Where was Fabio Viera playing? Where was Smith Rowe playing? I don't know who was playing where. And in the end, we were a complete mess. So I'm not going to say that he was wrong to make subs, but I think the substitutions along with the system, we got it wrong. Gunner down under, appreciate it again, bro. Said also, what about Malassia's assault on Saka after he got the shot off? He followed through and left 2 studs on Saka. Yeah, again, like that was a naughty one. That I think again the referee went with, because he got the shot off. You know, it kind of happened after the event. It's not easy. It's not easy. It isn't. You're not going to get much at Old Trafford. You're really not. You have to win the game yourself. You can't rely on the referee, unfortunately. Rish said, I hope in the future we buy Mitrovic and Tony. I think either one of them would be a good plan B, especially Ivan Toney. I would definitely take him at Arsenal. That is for sure. I think he's a very good player. Let's quickly get through these player ratings. Now, this is not gonna. This is quite confusing at times because there are a couple of good performances, but I genuinely don't think that Arsenal played as well as a lot of people think we did. A lot of people saying that we played really well. But I don't think we played as well as a lot of people think. I thought we had good spells. I thought we kept possession well. I thought we put United on the back foot a little bit. I don't think we punished them enough. And I thought we made it too easy for them to score. And I think Ten Hag will be sitting in that dressing room going, mission accomplished. We let them have possession. We sprung them on the counter-attack. We drew them out and we used our pace to lick them down on the break, and we fell for it. So I think it was very naive defensively, man. Let's get into the player ratings. Aaron Ramsdale, for me, didn't do much wrong for any of the goals. If I look at it, I don't think he can save any of them. For me, Ramsdale gets a 5 purely based off the fact I don't think a goalkeeper can get a high rating when you've conceded 3 goals. His distribution was quite good. Conceded 3 goals. He gets a 5 for me. I thought his kicking was quite good. Could he have done anything else about the other goals? I'm not sure. Gave the ball away with a stupid pass into midfield, trying to give it to Zinchenko. Made up for it with a good save. First goal, people saying first goal he was completely off. I'll give him a 5. Some of you 6, some of you 4, some of you a 5. I'll give Aaron Ramsdale a 5 out of 10. Let's go to the back 4. Ben White, again, thought Sancho in the first half backed him up a few times. I thought yesterday was the first warning sign that we've got a centre-back playing at right-back. He came off. As I said, that third goal for me, you know, he's playing Eriksen onside. He should step up. It wasn't his best game. It wasn't his best game, Ben White. I don't want to totally annihilate him. He wasn't terrible. I've got a 5 written down for him. But I almost think he was worse than Ramsdale. I'm going to give him a 4.5. I think he can do a lot better on that third goal. Let's go to the back, the central defenders. Gabriel. This was not one of Gabriel's better games, man. It really wasn't. Rashford, as the runs were causing chaos. I'm going to give Gabriel a 4. I thought Gabriel was worse than Ben White. Ben White's not in his natural position. I thought he was rash. I think he cost us the first goal. And this was not a good enough performance from him. He's starting to look clumsy. He really is. A lot of the time he gets away with it because he wins the ball. Probably our worst defender yesterday, if I'm being honest. He gets a 4 out of 10 for me, Gabriel. Thought he was rash. He's got to cut that out of his game. Funny thing is, I said Ben White can't get back in this defence. Gabriel might be the one that he can push out just for his calmness, but he gets a 4 for me. William Saliba, I thought he was our best defender yesterday, but still not at his best. I thought the Rashford goal, he didn't track him well enough. I thought the second Rashford goal is too high. He also misses a great chance in the first half. I know he's a defender. I give Saliba a 5. I think he was better than Gabriel and Ben White, but still not good enough for me. This was his worst performance in an Arsenal shirt, no doubt about that. But I think he sunk with the rest of the team. It was Titanic settings. Zinchenko, not his best game either. For me, the first goal he switches off. The third goal is not close enough to Bruno Fernandes. I give him a 4.5. I think for me, that was a centre midfielder playing at left back. And I think he got exposed yesterday as well. His worst game in an Arsenal shirt as well. Do we have to push Zinchenko into midfield and play Tierney at left back and get Tomiyasu back at right back for me in the next game? I think we need natural fullbacks now. Zinchenko, I think, against teams not as good, you get away with it. I think Man United, because of the way they hit us on the break with a lot of pace, we got exposed a little bit yesterday. I'm like you. Somebody said I'm fuming. I'm still fuming with yesterday. Let's go into the midfield. The bagels. Let's get the bagels out, people. And we all know a bagel has absolutely nothing in midfield. And yesterday, we had absolutely nothing in midfield. Effort, cool. You tried. You ran around. You didn't produce anything. At any time did Xhaka and Sambi get on the ball, get us going, make things happen? No. Did they protect us defensively? Just stay solid. Stop midfield runners getting past us? No. They let Bruno Fernandes tickle our bellies and do whatever he wanted to do to us. They were shocking. Sambi Lokonga, for me, at this moment in time, right, I'm not going to totally write him off as a player. A lot of players have done a lot worse than he has at Arsenal. For me, he is not Arsenal standard at the moment. Simple as that. Sambi Lokonga is not Arsenal standard at this moment and time. He is shy on the pitch. He doesn't want to get on the ball, hides often, didn't influence this game, and he was out of his depth. A lot of that has to go down to the manager because maybe he shouldn't have been put into them circumstances. I'm not going to absolutely annihilate him, but for me, I'm giving him a 4. I'm giving him a 4. I'll give him a 4.5. Just for the effort, and I don't think he should have been there, to be honest. If you sign Douglas Luiz, if you sign, Milinkovic-Savic, whoever you sign, you get more out of them. Sambi Lokonga, right now, he ain't going to win you big games. I'm sorry. He ain't going to trouble Man City. He ain't going to trouble United. He ain't going to trouble Chelsea. He's an average centre midfielder at the moment. Looks to me very similar to Nuno Tavares in that I think he should have gone out on loan for the season. I think you should have put him in a decent team. Tavares gone to Marseille, big club. I think Sambi should have been loaned out or just playing Europa League and Cup games. Yeah, an outstanding 4 for Laurie. Granit Xhaka. I think Granit Xhaka was poor yesterday. I almost look at Granit Xhaka and think you can maybe be more to blame than Sambi because you're meant to be in great form, apparently. You're meant to be the experienced player. You're meant to be one of the captains. Granit Xhaka did absolutely nothing yesterday. Nothing. Got bullied. We got destroyed in midfield yesterday. Destroyed. McTominay bullied us. Dark arts. He threw our players on the pitch. Ericsson got man of the match. Bruno picked us off. Granit Xhaka for me was awful. He gets a 4. He gets a 4 for me. I thought he was awful. Non-existent. Can't run. And when you've got mobility in midfield, he can't cope with it. He's average. I'm sorry, I don't care how many decent games he's had in this role. When the going gets tough, he can't handle it, people. 5 years, 6 years at the club. How many more chances do we need to give him? Does any Arsenal fan actually believe Granit Xhaka will ever get Arsenal into the top 4, being one of our main centre midfielders? He's not good enough. We should have got rid of him years ago. Our Gundogan, they called him. He ain't our Gundogan. He is our Granit Xhaka. And Granit Xhaka ultimately is not good enough. I've probably been kind giving him a 4. I'm almost tempted to give him less. He was non-existent. He's awful. Absolutely awful. Can't run. I've seen more movement on a double-decker bus at a bus stop, people. Let's go into the midfield. Martin Odegaard. I gave him some criticism yesterday. Doesn't like shooting, that is for sure. But one thing I have to give him a little bit of credit for, his pass led to the goal. Played a great ball in the first half where Martinelli's header was tipped wide. And he won the ball back in the goal that maybe was or wasn't. So I've got to give him a little bit of credit for that. And he definitely deserves more credit than some of the others. I still don't think he was good enough. I still think his shot that he put wide was terrible. He didn't shoot enough. He didn't track runners enough. I give him a 5. I don't think he was good enough. I really don't. I thought he was passive. He has good moments, Odegaard. He's a moments footballer. You get good moments out of him. But ultimately, he's got to shoot more. He missed a sitter. And he didn't track enough. So he gets a 5 for me, Martin Odegaard. Big up Frank with the super sticker. Really appreciate it. Let's go to the 2 wingers. Solar Guard, man. Solar Guard, Polymation. I'm telling you. Bukayo Saka. I think the goal gives him a bit of a boost. Hopefully it gets his season going. What frustrated me, he went on a run in the first half where he breezed past Malacia, and he didn't really go at him enough times after that. What do I give Saka? I don't think he was great, Saka. I don't think he was great. Do we boost him because of the goal? Goals win games. I give him a boost because of the goal. I don't think he was great. I think 5.5, 6. Just purely because of the goal. I think he should have been a bit more direct. But it's hard. Ben White doesn't overlap him. Is he tired? Does he need a rest? I still can't work out. But listen, he got his goal. It's his birthday today. So, yeah, we keep it moving. Big up Fran in the chat. I just see Fran in the chat. Hope you're well, my bro. Let's go to Gabriel Martinelli. One of my biggest regrets about yesterday's game from Arsenal. Gabriel Martinelli had Dalot on strings in the first half. And we did not get the ball to him enough. First 20, every time he got it, he went past him. And then we stopped giving him the ball. I think Paul Merson said, why did we stop giving the ball to Martinelli? He looked our biggest outlet. If you look at the second half, most of the ball went down the right-hand side. Martinelli, for me, I think the engine blew up a little bit in the second half. But I think he was our best player in the first half and I think he was our biggest threat in the game. I got to be honest. I think he was probably, I would give him a 7 out of 10 for yesterday. I thought Dalot got done. I can remember at least 4 or 5 times that Martinelli went past Dalot. And he had a goal disallowed. He had the header that was tipped wide. He was our most dangerous player in attack. Ultimately, you're looking at a 20-year-old to do it by himself. How many of the other players are producing around him? I thought first half he was fantastic. I thought he was our best player. Second half he went quiet. We didn't get the ball to him enough. So I think that's down to us more than him. Anyone who's played out wide, sometimes you play out wide, you get the ball, you go past the fullback easily. And you think to yourself, give me the ball all game, please. I'm going to rip these lot apart. And we didn't do that, in my opinion. Let's go to Gabriel Jesus. Worked his socks off. Covered every blade of grass. But it wasn't the performance that I want to see from Gabriel Jesus. I thought yesterday we made him look like, it was like a Lacazette performance in the sense of just work. You need to give him something. If Gabriel Jesus is going to score 20 goals this season, he has to get some sort of service. You can't just expect him to run around and fight. I think Jesus played well yesterday. I actually thought he played well without really testing the goalkeeper that much. You look at the one where he nicks the ball off Lisandro, gets to the byline, pulls it back. Martin Odegaard, 8 yards out, should score. That could be his assist. He's running the build-up to the goal. I'm actually going to move Martinelli up to a 7.5, and I'll give Jesus a 7. I thought he worked his socks off. I thought he had a really hard shift up there with no service. Should have an assist. His run leads to the goal. I thought he gave them problems without really having any service. I think on another day, he gets an assist there and he's played in the build-up to the goal. You've got to get people around him. I think he's doing too much running that you don't want him to do. I want him to play the width for the 18-yard box and get on the end of chances. That was a Lacazette run around like a dog and chase everyone down performance. I don't like seeing him do that. I don't think that's what we signed him to do. Man said he was on Rihanna settings. Work. You see me? I feel work. Man City don't make me work. Yo, Jesus Zep, man, I'm telling you. Arsenal, people don't understand it. It don't look easy to play up front for Arsenal, especially in the big games. We don't create enough. Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank was saying the exact same thing. We had him looking like a greyhound up front, just chasing down everything. Give the man some service. Create a chance for him. What did they create for him yesterday? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So it was disappointing. Let's look at the substitutes. Tomiyasu, Tomiyasu came on, wasn't really involved. Smith Rowe got injured in the warm down after the game. That's probably the biggest thing he did in the game. I didn't see him on the ball. Fabio Viera, to me, at this stage, a lot of people asking me, what do you think about Fabio Viera? It's very hard to make that judgment because I haven't seen him play enough. I'm at a point with Fabio Viera where I'm almost thinking, okay, this guy looks a lively, decent player, but did we need him? Would be my question. The first question I would ask to any Arsenal fan is, did we need Fabio Viera? Looks like a lightweight, clever number 10 that will try and get between the lines and pick a pass. Very similar to Martin Odegaard. If you've got Martin Odegaard in the 10 and he's your captain and you're going to start him most weeks, you've got Smith Rowe who is an alternative who can play in that role. Did we need to spend 35 million on a lightweight number 10 rather than buying a midfielder where we look desperately short at the moment? So that's not me writing off Fabio Viera. I think he could be a very good player. However, I think if your mum sends you to the shop and you're a kid and you need milk, you buy milk. You don't come back with a packet of biscuits. You get the milk. She wants a cup of tea, get the milk. You get what you need before you get what you want. And I think Arsenal didn't necessarily buy something that they needed before buying something that they wanted. That's not me writing him off. That's me saying maybe we needed other players before we went and signed him. Somebody needs to sign him up for pure gym, by the way, because that brother, you need to put some weight on. But anyway, not all the best players are hench, so maybe not. Bernardo Silva's balling and he's small as well. I know, man got the milk and an extra pick and mix. Man, you know what I mean? Your mum might send you shop for 4 pints of milk, but you bought the pint and spent the rest on a few sweets. She shouted at you, but it was worth it, eating them on the way home. You know how it goes, people. Buy what you need before you buy what you want. Buy the essentials first. Anyway, let's move on, people. Let's move on. For me, listen, just to round up yesterday before we get into press conference reaction. Ultimately, Man United won the game. They beat us 3-1. People are saying the narrative hasn't changed. Arsenal have looked great. Now they've played a top team. They've been beaten. They've looked pretty. They've dominated possession. They didn't punish them. They didn't score their chances. They were naive defensively and got hit. If you look at that performance yesterday, a lot of people saying we played well. I think you look at Ramsdale, okay, not great, not terrible. The defence, poor, probably the worst performance of the season. Naive, poor defending. Midfield, bagel, non-existent, straight through the middle. That was our midfield yesterday. Up front, striker ran around like a rag doll. Didn't get no service. Wingers were okay. Martinelli was lively. Ultimately, I thought we were okay, but we had good spells. To beat Manchester United, you've got to punish them when you dominate. We dominated at times and didn't punish them, and that's why we lost the game. Mikel Arteta, for me, yesterday, I'm giving Mikel Arteta, for me, gets a 4.5 for yesterday. Because for me, why were we going gun-ho at 2-1? You're at Old Trafford. You're in the game. United are not firing on all cylinders. Rashford scored his first goal in the 66th minute. There was 24 minutes to go in that game when Rashford scored his first goal. Why did we not just sit tight, say, don't let them score again, rebuild our way into this game, and if we get a point, we keep it moving. A point was a good result yesterday. We went all out attack and bottled it and capitulated. Even at the end, Ronaldo came on, nearly got a one-on-one with the keeper as well. So I think Arteta gets a 4. Arteta gets a 4. I'm even taking the 0.5 off. I thought his tactics yesterday were poor. I think Ten Hag got the better of him in the end, people. So his in-game management for me was not good enough. You don't see top teams in the Premier League exposed and go all out like that at the end of a game. That's shambolic. Steven said, wow, even Lee Gunner gave Arteta a 7. Hey, listen, fair play. Football's about opinions. I'm not giving Mikel Arteta a 7 in a game where we were left exposed. And you know, so yeah, I'm giving him a 4, people. Naive. Right, let's hear what he had to say. A little bit of waffle. Quick waffle before we move on. Every word from Mikel's post-Man United presser. I hope this is quick. I really do. I do not want to read much today. I'm not in the mood to read much waffle. On the result, Arteta says, well, I'm very disappointed that we haven't won the game because the game was there for the taking. We haven't won it because we lacked some discipline in certain moments to defend certain actions, and then we were involved in something in front of the opponent's goal. Surely after we concede the first goal, as a manager, you would say, drop back. What are you doing? Why are you on the halfway line, man? How come one through ball and these men are getting... But again, we do it again on the third goal. It don't make sense. Where was the instructions? Were they ignoring him? What was going on? It's all mad. On the VAR decision to rule out Martinelli's goal, he said, I haven't seen the action, but what I said is that it is a soft foul. It's just the consistency of the soft foul on Saka from Tyrone Mings the other day, of course. The penalty last week, but it's not a penalty. The soft foul on Ramsdale when we conceded against Villa is a goal. It's just consistency. Yeah, we need consistency. I agree with that. I do agree. Well, no matter what a referee's doing, keep it, one way for everyone. But anyway, let's move on. On whether we were naive in the goals we conceded, he said, we lacked discipline. We conceded the first goal when it was an action with Bruno and 3v3 in the back line, and we don't follow our principles and we concede the goal, which was 2 against 1. I understand that. That, for me, is Zinchenko going across, trying to double up on Rashford, leaves Antony, and they score. After that, it was all us, chance after chance, dominating the game and imposing ourselves in the way that we want to play. Now, listen, Mikel, I respect it. You want to come out all guns blazing. I understand it. Fire the cannon. Arsenal, the Gunners, this, that, the other. We had good spells in the game. We had opportunities to punish them. I think you've gone on a little bit carried away when you're saying chance after chance, dominating the game, imposing ourselves in the way that we want to play. Shaq, you're right, Shaq. Go on. Let me take a sip. I'm just going to chill for a second. Pure cap. Didn't dominate the game. And chance after chance. I mean, am I missing something here? Where's the chance after chance? Let me just check. I had this up earlier on. Arsenal, 3 shots on target yesterday. So for all that dominance, apparently, that he's saying we had 3 shots on target. So, yeah, I didn't see it. I didn't see it. That I could have done with a shot of Ray and Nephew in there. Never mind water. Anyway, let's move it. According to Mikel, we absolutely dominated the game. Chance after chance. We play with even more courage and we're going to win the game. We went to 1-1 and we should have been 2 or 3-1. In the best moment again, we gave them all away in a dangerous area. And on top of that, we stepped in and we can never do that. Why are they doing that then? Why are they pushing up to the halfway line if that's not a manager's instruction? And if they've done it the first time, surely you tell them don't do it again. And then they do it again. He's done it again, in the words of Lee Judges. Crazy. Then in the opponent's goal, with the amount of chances we created, we needed to score more goals. That is true. On whether he noticed anything different about United, he said, I'm not here to evaluate United. What I saw is a very different Arsenal team that came here and played the way we wanted to play against these world-class players. And unfortunately, we didn't get the result we deserved. I think we did get the result we deserved. You can't defend like that and expect to win. So I'm sorry, we did. If you don't defend like that, you probably get out of there with a point at least. You defend on the halfway line, you're going to get punished against top players. On whether we still have a lot to learn, he said, we need to be consistent with the top teams and to challenge the top of the league. Really, you have to come here and play the way that you play, but also win. And that's a very different story. But to play the way we did here today, I want to see how many teams will do it this season. Oh, my days. On how we will stop this result harming the team's confidence, he said it won't happen. Because the performance is there and we know what we lack today. The details to lose the game are here and you have a very different performance with the same result is how I want to take it, because then you are questioning your level and I don't think there is any question of level. He's basically saying we played very well, no need to panic, but you've still got to ask questions. As Roy Keane said, football is a results-based game. Exactly. Would you rather be in the Arsenal dressing room saying, oh, look how well we played, but we lost 3-1, or would you rather be in the Man United dressing room saying, right, they dominated possession, but we've just slapped them 3-1 on the counter-attack? And that's that. And football is a harsh reality sport, people. It ain't for the weak. On how difficult... Oh, it's the end of the press conference. I'm actually delighted. On how difficult it is to maintain consistency when players are injured. He said, you are going to hurt me about that. You are going to hurt me about that. And I'm not going to put any excuses, because these are the players that we have. And for me, they're the best players. We try to do that and give them confidence and belief. And with those players, we play here the way that we played. So that's it. And that's not going to change. I'm so glad that's over. There's only so much waffle you can take after a 3-1 defeat at United. I still think deep down, reading into what he's saying, I think Mikel Arteta's vexed that we didn't sign anyone. But he's the corporate man. He ain't going to diss his boss, obviously. So I get it. I didn't like that press conference. I think sometimes in football, he does say that we're a little bit naive. But then don't say, we got the best players and we dominated and we had chance after chance. Acknowledge the fact that we weren't good enough in areas, I get it. You want to defend your team. But, I don't know. It was waffle. Let's have a look at the Premier League table. We're going to round up shortly, people. We are still top of the league. This is the biggest positive. We're top. The thing is, football changes so quick, because 2 weeks ago, Man United was the comedy channel. And 2 weeks later, they're 3 points behind us. And you're thinking, even though we won 5 out of 5, we didn't really get particularly far away from a lot of these teams, unfortunately. Listen, let me look ahead. Let me try and round off in a more positive fashion. I've been a little bit down about the performance and the result yesterday, because for me, I got to be honest, it really hurts when you lose to Man United, and in that manner. And I felt that was a Manchester United. That Man United team for me was there to be beaten, or at least get a draw against. And I'm just disappointed with the fact they beat us 3-1. 3-1 looks like we took a bit of a beating, and we shouldn't have, in my opinion. 50 cent settings. Cone Man Comedian is back again. Sidden's in the chat. Sidden, I'm not accepting the cookies and scrolling down to find you. I know you're down there somewhere. Look, I mashed up the table now. Let me get back to it. I know Sidden's way down there somewhere at the bottom of the league. Anyway, let's look ahead to the positives. Let me move on. Arsenal, top of the league. Still a positive. Arsenal's next game, Everton at home in the Premier League. Sorry, we have Europa League on Thursday away at Zurich. Everton at home is a very, very winnable game. I know Everton just got a point against Liverpool in their derby, but Everton are nothing to worry about, in my opinion, as long as we bounce back quickly. We should be beating Everton at home. I don't care. Go and beat Zurich midweek. Beat Everton. We remain top of the league. Positive, Manchester United play Tottenham this weekend. At least one of those two is going to drop points. The other positive, Manchester United play Crystal Palace away. Probably a more difficult game for United than Arsenal at home was, because I think a counter-attacking team is actually what Manchester United don't like playing against, because they want to counter-attack you. For me, there's every possibility. United could drop points. Obviously, City and Tottenham, at least one of them will drop points. And there'll be an opportunity for us to create a little bit of breathing space with the fact that we play Everton at home. The problem we've got at the moment, we are short on numbers, especially now we're hearing that Emile Smith-Rowe pulled some sort of, or felt a muscle problem during the cool-down after the game. How long is he going to be out for? Hopefully, it's just a precaution. Taran said Big C Arteta may waffle in public, but in the dressing room, I think he let the players have the harsh truth. And listen, I understand that. Let me not always just disrespect him. A lot of managers will step out there in front of the media and defend them. Go in the dressing room, they're annihilating them. And for me, if I was Arteta, I would have been fuming with Arsenal after that game. I wouldn't have been patting people on the back and saying, oh, well done, great effort. I'd have been saying, do you know what? That United team were there to be beaten. They were there to at least get a point. I think a point would have been a fantastic result, because also you stay unbeaten and you stop United gaining ground on you. It halts them in their tracks. Now they've got the win now. They're going to feel like, yes, we can keep going. As much as we've won more games than Manchester United, United have beaten Liverpool and Arsenal. So they've dealt with two very big tests in their 4 victories. People are still going to have this feeling with Arsenal that, okay, you won your first 5, but the first big team that you played against, you couldn't beat them. That's something that we need to turn around this season. That is for sure. Arsenal Gunner said, 1986 Arsenal Gunner, said, ESR injured in the warm down, no backup left winger, right winger or midfielder. We're desperately short at the moment, people. I joked about Ross Barkley, but I actually meant it yesterday. I'm not even joking. Unfortunately, he's just signed for Nice in France with Nicolas Pepe on a permanent, so we can't even sign Ross Barkley now. But I think Arsenal have a good team. I think they've got an opportunity to challenge for top 4. I think it's going to be difficult. I don't think we have the squad at the moment. I think if you're judging this Arsenal squad, I think we're going to need a lot of luck to get 4th this season. I also think Arsenal severely lack match winners. I think our last match winner that we had was Aubameyang when he was in form. I think before that, it was Alexis Sanchez. Before that, you're probably looking at Van Persie and maybe Mesut Ozil when he was playing well. I look at the big 6 teams. Shout out to Turkish. Make sure you tune in for the big 6 later. Always support them. I look at the big 6 teams. I think Arsenal are the only team in the big 6 where I look and I think we don't have a world-class footballer. I don't think Arsenal have one world-class footballer. I mean, top draw, top level, gets into most teams in world football, proven, scares the opposition, top notch. I don't think we have one. I think we're asking young players. Now, they're not young. We can't always throw the young excuse for them, but ultimately you're putting people in a situation that they haven't been in before. You're expecting Gabriel Martinelli to get you to the top 4 spot. You're expecting Saka. They're still learning the trade themselves. They're still figuring out their own game. They're still having issues in their game that they have to figure out, trying to establish themselves in their national team, putting the weight of expectation on them and saying, you go and get us in the top 4, I think sometimes can go against them. I look at this team and I think some of our more experienced players have to take more responsibility. Frank said, Big C, our fans should manage the team. The last manager that saw holes in the team and filled them was George Graham, not rocket science. Well, he was a very good manager. Obviously, Wenger as well. Towards the end, it kind of went downhill. Derek said Barkley would have been better than Sambi. I actually totally agree with that. Martin said, absolute facts, we got potential. I'm asking the question, people. A lot of people coming back at me here. Is Thomas Partey world class? For me, he's not. For me, he's not. I think world class players, first of all, play on a consistent basis. You can be a great player. If you're injured a lot, you're not good enough because you're not available. World class, a lot of availability. As I always say, availability is one of the best abilities. Thomas Partey's been injury prone in the Prem. That, first of all, goes against him. And that's it. I don't think he is. I don't think he is world class. If he played every week, 35 league games, then we'll have a discussion. But until that happens, I don't think you can call him world class. I really don't. Great player. On his day, almost unplayable. He's a beast. But world class, not for me. And after that, there's nobody else. Martinelli, potential, yeah. Saka, potential, yeah. Saliba, potential, yes. There right now, absolutely not. That's a good point. Lee said he was Thomas Partey world class at Atletico because he played nearly every week for them. Time will tell. Sadiq, Ross Barkley is in downfall, doesn't fit the type we need. Listen, Sadiq, I saw centre mid yesterday that don't fit the type we need either. He can't be any worse. But listen, that story's over anyway. He signed for someone else. Odegaard isn't it. Too nice to be a captain. Listen, for me, I've said a lot about Martin Odegaard this season, and I have to be careful how I word it and what I say because I don't want it to look like I've got an agenda against this guy. Talented, yes. Creates chances, yes. Should Martin Odegaard be the captain of Arsenal Football Club? In my opinion, I don't think he should. I think he's in a position where, again, his game is still developing. He's new to the Premier League. He plays in a position that I think the number 10 role, even though some people say Odegaard plays 10/8, I think the number 10 role has kind of gone out of football a little bit over the last few years. You look back 5-10 years ago, you had James Rodriguez, Isco, David Silva, Mesut Ozil, Juan Mata. There was number 10s all over the place, Fekir. Everyone played with a little 10, a little technician. I think now you look at a lot of the top teams, they've kind of come away from that because they're saying you can't simply carry a little number 10 who gets on the ball and tries to pick passes. You need almost a 3-man midfield. Listen. Let me tell you something. I take my medicine when my team gets beat. I think they deserve to beat us. Big up to Saeed. He came on the show. We had a good preview. You sucker punched us. We played into your hands. We were naive at 1-1. We should have at least got a point. So big up Saeed. Make sure you go and follow him. I take my medicine. We'll see you at the Emirates in a few months. That's all I got. Big up Saeed. It ain't easy, man. It ain't easy. Anyway, people, I am out of here. Thank you very much for tuning in. Arsenal Therapy back live and direct. Go and check out Saeed and the gang later on for Big 6. I'm sure it'll be on 9-10 o'clock. Go and support them. Turkish might have to put the bandana on tonight. Appreciate you tuning in. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hopefully we don't do Arsenal Therapy for a while. That is for sure. I'll see you all tomorrow. We will be back. And obviously we got the Europa League game on Thursday. We'll preview that on Wednesday. Enjoy your Monday, people. Have a great start to the week. I will see you all tomorrow. Bless.